Hey guys, in this week's video we're going to be talking about mucus, catarrh and phlegm. I know it's a grim topic, but a lot of people struggle with it. So in this week's video we're going to be talking about mucus and catarrh, what they are, why it happens, how to prevent it, how to get rid of it, and when to seek medical attention for it. Now this is going to be quite a long video, so if there's any specific information that you want in this video, the great news is I've timestamped it all in the description below for you. So if you want to find any specific information, feel free to click on the description, click on the bit that you want and watch it. However, I'd highly recommend that you watch the entire video so that you can become a mucus, catarrh, phlegm pro, whatever you want to call it. Let's begin. So first of all, let's begin with the basic. What is mucus, catarrh and phlegm? Well, mucus is produced by our bodies naturally. Certain cells produce them in certain areas of our body. For example, our mouth, our nose, our lung, our stomach. And the whole point of these cells producing it is so that the lining of the surface doesn't dry out. Now you're all probably familiar with the mucus produced by our noses and throats, as this is what runs when you have a runny nose, and it's what you spit out as phlegm when you have a chesty cough, and what can build up as catarrh at the back of your nose and throat when you have allergies or an infection. And as unpleasant mucus may be, it actually has a really important bodily function. It actually acts as one of our first lines of defense, I'll have you know. But also, for example, in our stomach, it acts as a barrier and a lubricant to help the food come in. It also helps as a barrier. Also, when we're looking at your nose, your mouth, your lungs, again, the mucus is acting as a barrier to any foreign substances that may come in, such as dust, such as chemicals, such as anything foreign that's going to come in. Hopefully the mucus is going to trap it and help protect you. Now the bad news is though that sometimes due to allergies, nasal polyps, colds, the mucus can go into overdrive. The production of it can go into overdrive, making those passages thinner and more difficult for you to breathe, for example, which you've all had when you've had a cold, and that's when you're having problems and difficulties, so you just want to get rid of it. So the next question is, what are the symptoms of catarrh? Well, you have your common symptoms, so for example, a blocked or runny nose, feeling mucus down the back of your throat, and constantly having to clear your throat, and you hear people all the time going like this, you know, clearing their throat. That is just catarrh, that they're moving back, okay? But there are less common symptoms as well. So for example, you can get headaches, you can get facial pain, you can get sometimes difficulty hearing. That's very uncommon, but that can happen as well. And sometimes you can get a loss of smell as well. Now at the time of filming, we are obviously in a global pandemic with COVID-19, and some of the symptoms that I've just discussed do overlap with COVID-19, such as a loss of smell or taste and constant coughing. Now, I will leave more information in the description below for you to read. I'm sure a lot of you already know all about COVID-19, but please do remember this and also follow your government guidance on what to do if you do have these sort of symptoms. Now, moving back onto catarrh, and by catarrh, I don't mean the country, I mean actual catarrh. Look, anyone can suffer with catarrh at any point in their lifetime, but you may be more prone to it if you suffer from allergies and hay fever, if you eat a lot of spicy foods, if you suffer with something called gastroesophageal reflux disease, or if you experience hormonal changes due to puberty, pregnancy, HRT or oral contraception. All of these things can affect mucus production and as a result can increase your likelihood of suffering with catarrh. Now the good news is that if the cause of your catarrh is not chronic or it's not a long-term health problem, most likely your catarrh will clear up in a few days or a few weeks. And there are many things as well that you can do that are going to help with it, which we're going to discuss in this video. Okay, so that's the background done, that's all the sciencey bit done. Now let's begin with those tips. So the first of all, how can we reduce our mucus, catarrh and phlegm? If you're watching this video right now and you've got some mucus and you're feeling all bunged up, the first thing I'd highly recommend everyone to do is take a few sips of cold water. This can help soothe your throat and reduce any irritation of needing to constantly clear it. Clearing your throat too often can actually make it worse, so sipping water as an alternative to soothe it is a much better option. Now, drinking water and staying hydrated is obviously important. It has many health benefits for us, but it's also going to help with that mucus as well. It's going to help dilute it as well, so it's not as thick. Look, if you're dehydrated, your mucus is going to be a lot thicker. Now, if you are at home and you've most likely got some salt available, you can also make a saline rinse. These can be super helpful for patients with catarrh, phlegm and mucus buildup. You can use it as a gargle to help clear your throat and also as a nasal rinse. It is super important to remember, do not swallow this. It's just to be used as a rinse and spat out, okay? I am going to explain very soon how to make it and how to do it. So what this is going to do is it's going to help reduce swelling, it's going to help get rid of mucus, mucus, and if you do it constantly, several times a day, you're gonna get some real benefits from it if you are someone who's very congested right now, or you've got lots of mucus and catarrh and phlegm. Okay, so the next question is, how do we make the saline rinse? It's very easy. All you need to do is boil the kettle, let that water cool a little, then get a pint glass or whatever glass, pour some water in it once it's cooled, about a pint of water and half a teaspoon of salt. Mix that in, let it dissolve, let it cool so it's not gonna burn you. That's the most important thing. Once that's ready, that is your saline rinse to use then and there, okay? Don't make it up and then leave it until tomorrow to use it. You have to use it then and there. And then we've got two options. You can do the gargling that we just mentioned. So the first thing you need to do is go to a sink, stand in front of a sink, because this stuff is pretty messy, so you don't want to make a massive mess where you are. So go to the sink and do some gargling. So a small bit of the saline rinse that you've made, put it in your mouth and then just gargle. Gargle it for a few seconds and then spit it back out. You may swallow some, try not to swallow any, but if you do swallow it, don't worry, it's not the end of the world, but try your best to just spit it out, okay? So that's the gargling done. You can do that as many times a day as you want until you get relief. And then when we're looking at the nasal douching, that's very simple. It's the same solution that we're gonna use again over the sink. Pour a bit into the palm of your hand and then sniff it up from one nostril, let it fall out until you get relief, and do the exact same in the other nostril as well. Again, this is a bit of a weird sensation when you do it. You might get some going into your mouth and down your throat again. Try and spit it out, try not to swallow it. If it does go down there, it's not the end of the world again, but try to spit it out. Also, I would highly recommend that this is done by adults only. Anyone under the age of 12 should definitely not do it, and if they are over 12, they will need adult supervision as well. And speak to your healthcare professional as well in case you're worried, you know, if you had any surgery or any medical conditions there around your face, that region at all, to speak to them to make sure that it's safe and suitable for you to do as well. Now, if you are struggling to make your own saline rinse, you can also buy them from the supermarket or the chemist. They usually come as a sachet and you mix it in water. The directions are on there. Also, if you're struggling to do the nasal douching, like how I explained it, there are sort of devices that you can buy that look like a bit like a teapot that you then use to do the nasal douching. Some people find them easier. I don't mind. I can do the way that I did it. I just think it's free and it's easy to do, but if you're really struggling, then those options are available as well. Now, another thing that you can do as well, please note, these first few things that I'm talking about are all things that you can do at home. I thought it'd be useful to talk about these first, because when you're watching YouTube, you usually don't have access to a chemist or a supermarket or anywhere to buy certain stuff. So these are easy to do home remedies that are really gonna help. So the next thing I wanna talk about is steam inhalation. Steam inhalation can really help unblock that mucus and help get rid of it as well. So you can do this after you've done the gargling, before it, whenever. You can mix the two together, or if you're really struggling to do the gargling and nasal rinse, you can do the steam inhalation instead. So it's very simple to do. Boil the kettle, but again, please be very careful that you don't burn yourself, and then get a little bowl, pour your boiled water in there, and then you need to get yourself a little towel or something that can cover your head and the bowl. You're gonna put the towel behind your head and you're gonna leave at least 30 centimeters between your face and the bowl, okay? You can leave more. The minimum I'd say is 30 centimeters, but please be extremely careful that you don't burn yourself. Again, I'd only recommend this for adults. It's too dangerous for children to do. It's very, very risky as well. So only adults, and just be very careful when you're doing it. Once you've got this towel covering your head and the bowl, you can then breathe in and out through your nose, close your eyes as well for about 10 to 15 minutes, and you can repeat it 3 to 4 times a day if it's needed. If it's someone that struggles to do this, another good option is after a shower, after a nice hot shower, there's usually lots of steam in there as well, and you can go in there and help, and that's going to help as well to unblock that mucus as well, because you're breathing it in and out. It's very similar to the steam inhalation that we just spoke about. So that's what we can do to help reduce the mucus buildup. But what can we do to prevent it in the first place? Remember, things like pollen, smoke, dust, all of these things can make it worse. So it's important that when you're at home to keep those windows shut, to minimize the amount of dust and pollen and smoke and everything coming in, because that's just going to make things worse. It's important to also keep your house environment clean by regularly wiping away and hoovering up dust and mite allergens. Now, doing these little things can make a very big difference on the amount of mucus, catarrh and phlegm that you get and that buildup, okay? Now, I'm going to leave more information on these as well in the description below. If you want more information on it, please feel free to read it. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is environmental triggers. Look, it's believed that warm, dry air can make mucus, catarrh and phlegm worse. So this means using things like air conditioning or central heating or heaters at home all of these cause dry air, which is probably going to make things worse. Now, to combat this, you can try to increase the humidity in the air where you live at home. So for example, you could buy a humidifier. These are pretty cheap to buy, but if you do have any lung conditions, it's always important to speak to your healthcare professional first and see what they think about that. You can also do some more simple things to increase the humidity. For example, having a bowl of water in the house in the area that you spend more time in to increase the humidity naturally. And also certain house plants as well, they can increase the humidity as well. So this is definitely an area to look into. Now, sometimes even after all of these strategies, you may still have mucus, phlegm and catarrh, but there are things that you can buy over the counter as well, like your local chemist, such as antihistamines, such as nasal sprays. All of these can help. So the best thing that I'd advise for this is to speak to your chemist, at your local chemist, and get their advice on it so they can make sure that it's safe and suitable for you to use these medicines and see what they advise you to take. Now, as well as over-the-counter treatments, there are also natural herbal remedies that are said to help with mucus, catarrh and phlegm. Unfortunately, there is no evidence supporting any of these, so I really wouldn't waste your money on any of them. And before you use any of these kind of herbal remedies that you might have bought, please do speak to your healthcare professional. I would highly advise against them, but if you really want to, please speak to your healthcare professional first so you can get their advice as well, okay? A lot of these herbal remedies and treatments that you can buy, a lot of them are not regulated like medicines are, so you don't know what the manufacturing process is like, you don't know what's in there, they're not tested, okay? They don't know what the side effects are properly on them, there's no evidence on how effective they are like we do with medicines, so it's a risky one. So please do speak to your healthcare professional first if you really want to try them. Now, as I mentioned earlier, mucus and catarrh are not usually harmful or anything to be worried about, but there are times when you should speak to your healthcare professional. So for example, if you've had mucus and catarrh and it's starting to interfere with your life and you've had it for 3 weeks or more, please do speak to your healthcare professional about it, as it could be a sign that there's some sort of underlying condition going on which you might need treatment for. And if your mucus is green, brown or bloody, please do speak to your healthcare professional again. Again, there could be an underlying condition going on which needs investigating. And lastly, if at any time when you have catarrh and mucus, you've got any difficulty breathing, you've got chest tightness, you've got a fever, you've got any difficulty swallowing, again, these are all reasons to speak to your healthcare professional. If you're asthmatic, if you've got COPD, again, if you're getting these sort of symptoms, if you're getting mucus, catarrh, and it's building up and you're feeling worse and your asthma or your COPD is uncontrolled, again, you need to speak to a healthcare professional. This is the most important thing, and I really want you to remember these because your health is the most important thing. So that's it for this week's video. I really hope that you found this information helpful. You are now a mucus, catarrh, phlegm pro, if that's what you want to call it. I really hope that you find this information helpful. I really hope these tips help you. And also, if you have any of your own tips, please leave a comment below because I'm sure I'd love to read it, and I'm sure everyone watching this video would too. That's it for this week's video. Always remember that you're awesome, and I will see you next week. Hey guys, thanks for watching this week's video. Make sure to click that like, follow or subscribe button now to stay up to date with new weekly videos.